Hello everybody and welcome to Scalemodeling, and welcome to the new build of the Tamiya Tyrrell P34 six-wheeler. This is a 1/12 scale from the big scale series, and let's have a look at the box, which just fits under the camera here. There it is. Now this is quite a heavy box. It actually weighs 2 pounds. There's quite a lot of parts, quite a bit of photo etch and metal parts in here. As you can see, it includes the aluminium air funnels for the carburetors and lots of photo etch. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and when you hit subscribe, hit that bell button and hit all so that you get all the notifications each time I release a video. You're welcome to join me on Fridays here in Australia, Thursdays other places in the world, where I do a live stream. It's getting quite popular. It's great to be able to have one-on-one chats with all my subscribers and any other new people that might join in, and we talk about what the current build is and what the weather's like and all sorts of things. So it's a great thing, so keep an eye out for that. Please, your comments are very welcome throughout the video and throughout the whole series. I read all your comments and I take it all on board, and I get a lot of tips and advice and suggestions that are really helpful, very helpful. And of course, give us a thumbs up too. That always helps the algorithm, so that YouTube put this out to as many people that can see it, that want to see it. All right, so let me just mention that this kit was brought out in 2022, last year, with a new box cover. The original kit is from 1976, I think that is. I'll just double check that date. Yeah, I'm glad I checked. It's 1977 was the first one. But since then, we've got some new parts in here. We've got the photo etch and everything else. And this came out just at the time of filming last year, 2023. So should be really, really good. All right, let's get this box open. Now I have opened it. I have looked in here. Okay, and I'll give you a few good tips that come in handy before you start building any model. And you might notice it already, is label your sprues. See this? I have them all labeled because it's a lot easier to see. So you're not digging around trying to find your sprue and trying to find which one the parts you're looking for, if you just label everything. And also keep them in the plastic bags if you can, because there's a lot of small parts, and if they're going to come off, it's best they come off in the plastic bag rather than on your carpet or wherever else. All right. These parts I've also washed as well. So I'm well prepared before I started this video. So I've washed all these in the sink. I just use dishwashing liquid. Just give all the parts a wipe over with a nice soft sponge or a toothbrush. Then rinse them all off, and then lay them out on paper towels and let them dry overnight and put them back in the bags. That's what I've been doing. Right, another thing too is, if you can, like I have, keep them in the original box. A good way to keep all your parts together. What I also do is I've got a separate container here, just these old food containers that you get when you do your shopping. And these little takeaway containers are handy for smaller parts. Okay, so this smaller sprue, for example, I'm just going to keep that there. All right. We've got a clear sprue there with clear parts. That'll stay in there as well. In here, we've got the decals. You can see it. I'm sorry, the light's a bit bright. There we go. It's a bit better. That away. There, you can just see them there. All right. And there's also seat belts in there as well. It comes with quite a lot of stuff. Now, also with this, we have the photo etch is this giant sheet here. There it is there. So we've got like all our filter vents for the side of the vehicle. Not sure what this is. Looks like the tires. Not sure. could be the outside of the tires. I don't know how that works, or brakes. I'm not know. But yeah, so, and also there's our intake funnels for the carburetors, which are metal. Now, what I do with these is, because you do want to be careful with stuff like this, is I'll take them off here. We'll do now. Grab my knife. This, like that, and go like this. Okay, so there's our photo etch, and we'll grab the these parts. Take them out. There we go. I didn't prepare that part earlier, did I? Okay, so there they are, the funnels. There are plastic parts for these, but these have been added, a much better option. Okay, so what we do with these is take that tape off. Is I will put them in there because they're small bits. Don't want to lose any of them. They're all individually bagged, which is really good. So yeah, that's great. This photo etch, which we want to keep in pristine condition, is going to go in the bottom of there. Okay, that'll be kept safe in there. Sorry, bring it on camera so you can see. Sorry about the reflection. Probably. There we go. Also in here, we have another bag of parts here, which include the wheels. I have not opened this up yet, but I will do that now. What do we got? No staples, so we've just cut this open. This. All right, so tires. Oh yeah. I can smell the rubber tires. Look at that. Look at that. Goodyear. Hey? Nice. Nice soft tires. So there are your rears, obviously. Good. I'll be keeping them in the plastic. Then we've got our 6 front wheels. Sorry, 6. The 6-wheeler. It's not 6 front wheels. There are 4 front wheels, which is still unusual. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So they're looking good. We'll put those there. Now, also, we've got all sorts of bits in here. So this kit, and I'll read this off the box because I just noticed it there a moment ago. It includes, it's got, the length is 336 millimeters by 166 millimeters, and it's 84 millimeters high. It has movable front and rear suspension, employs coil springs. Front 4 wheels linked with steering wheel move via rack and pinion steering system. Realistic engine features, which I just said, the fuel pipes and ignition cables. Front, side and cockpit cowlings can be removed even after assembly. So that's a great way to display your engine. Includes photo etch parts depicting nose, wing and plates, brake discs and more. That was the date. Those were those there. I think they're the brake discs there. And the decals are all produced by Cardiograph. So in here we have, that looks like our fuel line. So that's quite different. I've never seen that before, but there we go. There's our fuel line. Excellent stuff. Then we have here, we've got 2 sizes of brake. Well, this probably would be your spark plug leads. All right. I'm guessing that'll be for spark plug leads. And these will be brake lines. So we got all that. We have, wow, rear springs. Gosh, look at that. All right, that'll be interesting. Don't know how that was 2 of them. There we go. That'll be interesting. We have, there's a couple of springs in there with some nuts and bolts, or screws and bolts. So that's good. And then we've got another bag with another couple of coil springs. And there's some very small springs in fact, they're all springs, all different size springs in there. A couple of nuts. So very detailed this vehicle is going to be. So what I'll do is I'm going to put the tyres back in the plastic. In fact, I might even have a bigger plastic bag. Yes, we'll put them in a bigger plastic bag. Keep them protected. All right. Now, I don't know the cost of this kit. I think it's available in most places. I bought this kit when I was in Thailand, and I bought it for 2,800 baht, okay, which works out about $100. Yeah, just about $120, which I think that sounds pretty cheap. $120, $100 Australian. Pretty sure it's a bit more expensive than that here. So, yeah, fantastic. And also, by the way, I had a vote on my community page on my YouTube channel here, so that you guys could vote for which build I was going to do. It was between this Tyrrell P34 or the Martini Brabham BT44B. And I can tell you, it was a race because it started off 50-50. As the votes started going in, the Tyrrell pulled ahead, and then the Brabham started to catch up a little bit more. And because I'm thinking, oh great, I'll get all these parts out. It looks like it's going to be the Tyrrell. But then the Brabham started catching up with people putting in votes, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll end up building it instead. But no, the Tyrrell came out on top. So good choice. They're both a great choice. I'm probably going to build the Brabham next. As you may know, this is my first Formula One car I've ever built, and in fact, it's my first car I've ever built. So, yeah. So if I don't like it, maybe I won't be building the Brabham. Maybe I'll go back to building a ship. We'll see. All right. So there's our tyres and stuff. So we'll keep them in this container here. Now, all these nuts and bolts, I will put them in my little container so nothing gets lost. There's our fuel lines and everything. And no idea what they're for. Just can't picture what part of the car they're going to go on. Anyway, we'll put them in there. And there we go. There's all those parts all set and handy within reach to grab hold of. All right. Let me clear everything out of the way here, and we'll come back and we'll have a quick brief run through the instruction book and have a look at what paint I'm going to use, because I'm using some very special paints for this. Okay, I'll be back in a second. Okay, so let's have a look at the instructions here. First, I'll just mention Icky Sticky, best quality products I've ever used for all your glues, cements, sanding equipment, knives, everything you need for cutting I use throughout the build here, including their tape. I've got all the tapes they have here, and you'll be seeing that throughout the build. Great stuff. Their link will be in the description, ickysticky.com.au. Check it out. Also, with this build, the paints I'm using will be, wherever possible, I'll be using the Outlaw Paints, okay? And Outlaw Paints, here's their sticker here. Again, their link will be down in the description. Great guy, Jason. Big plans, big company, worldwide distribution happening, and really the best quality paint. You'll hear me talk about quite a bit. And I want to give a special thank you to Outlaw Paints and Jason for producing the paint for this build. And this is what we're using. So this is the paint. He did a custom label on here with my Scalemodeling channel. So fantastic. Every time I look at that, I put a big smile on my face. Great stuff. And this is the blue we want for this. It's beautiful blue, beautiful acrylic lacquer paint. Goes on like a dream. All right. Now I have all the other paint. I have all the primers for this. Most of the colors, I'd say 90% of this will be using the Outlaw Paints. Also, at the end of the build, we'll be clear coating it with the Outlaw Paints 2K Diamond Clear. All right. So this is something I've just built. If you haven't already seen my other video, was the Honda Honda Gorilla 1/6 scale motorbike, and I'd used this for the first time, also using Outlaw Paints, and I'm just absolutely stunned by how beautiful it came up. All right, so these are also available on your site. You got your hardener, your thinner, your clear in here, your instructions here, your mixing ratios. This stuff is just, you know, I mean, look, I don't have the experience. I've never used 2K clear of any product before. This is the first time I've used this, but my God, yeah. All I can say is give it a go. You know, if you have used it or you want to know more about it, just put something in the comments and I can get back to you. But yeah, the Outlaw Paints Diamond Clear. All right, let's get on with it. And I will show you quickly the instructions. We're just going to go briefly through. Now, if you go to Scalemates and look this up on Scalemates, they have the instructions in a PDF file that you can download. Fantastic. But don't download the one for the 2023 model. Go to the one that's dated 2007, because the 2000, is it 7 or 17? Yeah, 2017. All right, download those instructions. They must have got them mixed up, but those are the instructions for this. Okay. The reason I know that because I checked and realized, oh, step one, building the engine, whereas in here, step one is actually starting on the chassis. All right, but a great way to go through the instructions. What I will be doing too is during each step of the instructions, I'll be taking screenshots of each sections, like step 1, step 2, step 3, and we'll pop it up in the corner so you can see exactly what we've got to do for each step as we go through. All right, so here it is, the 6-wheeler. This was a bit before my time. I was too young. I was probably, you know, not even in my teens at this, back in 1975, I think it was. I don't remember anything of the car like this before. It was certainly quite unique in Formula One. So yeah, it was in 1976 that it was brought out, and I'll actually put up a photo I found online, and one of the things I noticed on the photo is look at the tires on that. There's an original photograph of the 6-wheeler. Look at the tread on the tires. It's like a 4-wheel drive. What are they thinking? I mean, they're not wet or dry tires. What were they doing? Racing it around in mud. Yeah, amazing photograph. Anyway, so let's move on. Now, the assembly. Well, first of all, it went through all the usual painting, applying decals, so forth, undercoating, and using photo etch parts, which I'll show you as we go through. Now, one of the things here it says is paints required. Now, what I do too is just to make things a little bit easier is as you go through, it has all the paint call outs, XF, 16, whatever, you know, and what to paint them. And then you're forever going back and looking up here and, right, XF, there it is, flat aluminium, and you know what it is. By the way, I've replaced all the Tamiya ones, which they've called out onto here, with Outlaw Paints. I mean, you know, you can do this in the Tamiya paints, of course, but I've tried Outlaw Paints and now I'm hooked. So there's no turning me off. Okay, so what I do is I grab myself a little notepad and I will write down all the paints, and I will just put this somewhere in front of me where all I got to do is look up and go, right, that's where that color is, rather than flicking through the pages, trying to get back and trying to find where your paint guide is. So yeah, just write them all down and put it somewhere and where you can just see it. Stick it on the wall in front of you. Okay, now, like I said, I have never built one of these cars before, so let's hope that it does assemble. If in comments you've built this before, let me know. If there's a few things I need to know, maybe you know of some mistakes or errors or tricks and tips that I might need to know to make things a bit easier, especially with trying to combine painting and putting together and decals. I mean, even step one, we're putting decals on already, you know, fire extinguisher here. So, yeah, all our brake and clutch and everything going on here. That's great. I want to thank everybody too, now that YouTube has this new thing where we have super chats. If anyone wants to donate and help out the channel and contribute a little bit, you can do a super chat donation. It's fantastic. I really, really appreciate that when you do that. Thank you so much. Just helps me buy kits and equipment. I'm really at this stage saving up to get a new microphone. The one built into the camera is fine, but I need something a little bit more professional, I think. Okay. Also, there's a buy me a coffee link down below too. That's another way to help contribute as well. All right. Yes. So attaching chassis parts in step one. This is the chassis in step two. There's an upper and lower. So this is attaching the upper to the lower chassis. Okay. Attaching front bulkhead going on there. All right. That looks good. Suspension panels going on here on the chassis. Chassis. I don't know how you pronounce that. Different. If I pronounce things wrong, just it's my Aussie accent. Okay, we'll just put it down to that. Attaching upper arms. There we go. Left and right. Front suspension in step 6, starting with some of those small springs that we saw. Going over to step 7. Trying to keep this in the view. There we go. Lower arms going in for the suspension. Front uprights going on here. Make 2 is left and right. Left front, right front. Wow. Okay. There's a bit of photo etch going in there too. Some parts you don't glue. A lot of parts not to glue. Take note of that. Okay. I will, especially. What's this? Front upright. So this is all part of that section, quite detailed. Attaching the front uprights. That's all going on there. That's good. This is air duct long. Oh, I see. So that springy thingy, this thing, which it is metal spring, that's an air duct. And you just run that, stretch it, twist it where it's got to go. Okay, there you go. They're not giant earthworms. All right. Attaching the suspension panel. Yep, again, just about every step has places that you do not glue. Attaching the front roll bar or sway bar. Attaching the steering shaft. Remembering this is apparently you turn the wheel and the wheels actually turn. Attaching the body panel. So there's a body panel going on there. Attaching the front roll bars going on. Oil reservoir. Look at the details in the oil reservoir. Look at all the parts. Wow, that's incredible. And that's great. Look how that goes right down through the whole system. It's not just a piece on top that you can see. It's the full roll bar. That's good. Now here's where it's starting the engine, step 16. There's some hose there to cut. These Tamiya kits will always show you the length of hose to measure it by. You just put it on here and cut it. And as a tip, I'll mention it later in the video, is you just put go a little bit over, so you got just a little bit more, because it's, you know, it's easier to trim a bit off than have not enough. So all the engines going together there. Here we have the injection system for the carburetors, and there's our parts, which have plastic parts, and I'm just looking at them right here. So there they are there. There's the funnels, but we have the metal ones that came with the kit instead. So best go with the metal. Air funnels, yep. Injection system, attaching the injection systems here. And then we've got all these cables, which is all spark plug cables. All of them all going from the distributor all the way out. That's going to look just fantastic. There's tubing, transparent vinyl tubing. So that must be for the fuel. And it does look like every carburetor has its own fuel hose going into it. That explains why there's so much. That's going to look good. I've also heard there's a way you can fill up, because it's hollow and clear plastic tube, you can actually fill that up with some clear yellow inside or orange, and it actually looks like there's fuel in the line. Little tip there we'll look at later. Over the page to the gearbox. Gearbox going together, rear brake discs all going on. Very nice. There's even decals there by the looks of it. There's references for decals. More dope glue. Every step has something you dope glue. Attaching the rear brakes and discs. Attaching suspension arm. Attaching the gearbox. A lot of this might be worth doing a bit of weathering during the process as well, while it's so accessible. With that exhaust installation, there's your exhaust going on. Depending on how visible they are, may do a bit of the heat look on that, heat appearance, that where you've got the colors of the blue and yellow happening on there, heat marks. Rear uprights, okay, that's going in. Step 26, quite a few steps. Attaching the rear uprights, which is more of the suspension. The engine's going in here, so we're fitting the engine in. There's these connecting rods. Interesting. Radiator. There's radiator for the left and right radiators. Quite a lot of parts to that. Again, probably some of that photo etch will be used. Oil coolers there. Again, there's photo etch, and I think that's referring to decals. Yeah, decals as well. Not sure. Here we've got attaching the radiators. There's a bit of hose there. We've got to cut some lengths off. It's telling you which one's there. Tubing. Attaching the tubing. There you go. I'm going to try and see if I can fabricate some sort of little clamps for the radiator hoses. Work out something there. The rear wing stay. Okay, so that's the support for the rear wing spoiler. That's all going on. Connecting the tubing. Look at all the tubing going through here. All the water hoses and so forth. All the coolant. Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to get something that looks like those little silver, I can't remember the name of them, you know, the little clamps. You tighten up, like before we had zip ties, we had those metal ones. Here's the seat belts. So we've got the seat belts. We saw those. They're in there. That'll be interesting. Oh, lots of parts here going together. Look at all the photo etch for the seat belts. Fun. Attaching the seat belts into the seat here. Then we're onto the front wheels and the tyres. Good. Patching the wheels. Wheels are all going on. Looks like the cockpit's going down into the vehicle there. That's at step 36. 37 is the cowling and the rear wing going on. Attaching them. Again, they go down and they don't get glued because you can remove these. So that's good. The nose cowling's going on here. There's a piece of photo etch under the front of that, looks like. Man, there's a lot of detail. Look at all these brackets. The last step is 40, attaching the nose cowling and putting that on. Assemble the right, same as left. So that's going to go in there. Wow. Here we go, looking at the markings. So we've got the 1976. Is it? Yeah, we got two versions of markings. We got Jody Scheckter from 1976. Okay, that's with the name on the car. So that's the markings for that one if you wanted to do that. Then we go, that was number 3 car. Number 4 car is a Patrick DePalia for 1976. There are all the markings for that. I haven't decided yet. I'll do a bit of research and see who they were. And that's it. You're done. Fantastic. Now, here we've got the parts call out. so you can check, make sure all your parts are there. Great. Like I said, label them like I am. They'll be easy to find. There's all our smaller parts, springs, screws, the air duct. That's what that was. All those parts there. Okay. That's it. All right. Fantastic. Okay. So now I'm going to do my best to keep these videos close to about half the size of my normal videos. So some of my videos from the past go for about an hour each. These ones I'm going to keep around the half-hour mark, maybe a little bit more, but that's all. All right, which is where we're at now. So what we're going to do is we're going to begin the assembly of this. We'll get straight into step 1 in part 2 of this video build. All right, so I want to welcome everybody. And really hope you all come back for part 2 and we'll get into the build. It looks like a great model. I'm looking forward to hearing some tips and advice for anyone who's built this. I'm going to do hopefully a bit less talking and a bit more videoing, and we'll get this thing coming together. We'll try out a few different camera angles and so forth. But yeah. So please, thank you all for watching, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment below. And this will go into a new playlist called the Tyrrell P34. And don't forget, on Fridays, watch my live stream. We come in, have a chat, and say hello. It'd be great. And we can talk about all sorts of stuff. All right. Okay, guys, I'll see you all in part 2. Bye for now. Cheers.